Recently, an old friend of mine asked me what I thought we as black men should do to reclaim our households, and what I told him made him fall out laughing, so I'm going to tell you all the same. The next time you brothers size up a potential mate, you need to do the same thing the white man did when he had our female ancestors out there on that auction block. Don't let the booty hypnotize you and get all bashful and speechless around her. Say, "Turn around, gal." Okay, she got strong legs, sturdy shoulders, and a broad back. Let me see your hands. Her fingers are firm, which means she been cutting onions, peeling potatoes, and she ain't no stranger to the kitchen. Lift your chin and open your mouth. All right? I don't see no metal ornaments clamped to her tongue or markings all over her neck and face, meaning she ain't been punished for giving a whole bunch of sass and lip. Now, many of you brothers will probably laugh and say that I'm pushing it a bit too far, but ask yourselves, didn't it work for the white man? Yeah, you can bet your ass it did. In fact, he built an economic empire off the blood, sweat, and tears of our women that are still giving him residual payments to this very day, while you sit around stupefied and stumped, wondering why she remains loyal and devoted to propping his system up. You're too nice, black man. You're a simp. You get on national television on every major network telling black women how sorry you are that so many of them are single mothers when most of them were never married to the men they had sex with, and they chose to have the children out of wedlock because they know that they live in a society which rewards them for every bastard child they produce, because unlike the days of old when a Jezebel was viewed as a no-good, scandalous scallywag and home wrecker, the feminist movement has deemed the single baby mama a patron saint of the community. And you have helped this foolishness prosper, black man, because your timid voice can be heard coast to coast on radio stations far and wide, asking black women for forgiveness when they have never sought one apology or even a smidgen of gratitude from the white man and the white woman for helping them establish America. Even when the French government gave the black woman the Statue of Liberty as a gift to commemorate the end of chattel slavery, America put its foot down and said, "We ain't giving them hoes nothing." And they gave the statue European features to honor their women. And the black woman did nothing but go back to her post, making sure the beds were made and the floors were mopped. Yeah, that's what she did. Now, a whole bunch of sisters are going to interject and they're going to say, "But that was in the past." And they're going to claim that they haven't done those things since the 1960s. But for all the talk that black feminists have done, their actions say otherwise. Let's take Janet Jackson, for instance. Miss Control. Miss Got My Own Life. Make my own decisions. Miss Let's Wait a While. Please. The white man proved that her feminist charade was a total farce. Remember years ago when Miss My First Name Ain't Baby, It's Janet, Miss Jackson If You're Nasty, performed at the halftime of that Super Bowl with Justin Timberlake, and he snatched part of her costume off, exposing her breast in front of an international audience like she was a bed wench that was for sale on the auction block? And the white community, and mainly white women, blamed her.
What it represented was a kind of television viewing that we don't want little children to see.
That was the white man's way of letting Janet Jackson and the rest of her feminist flock know that he didn't care how much girl power talk she was rapping and rhyming about on them CDs. That regardless of how free-spirited she claimed she was still his bed wench.
Dad, please, Hammond, don't do it!
Don't you tell me what to do. Don't you think if you get in my bed, you're anything but a nigger. Now get out of my way.
And these same black feminists who claim they want to stop misogyny and male chauvinism, they didn't make one statement to counter the barrage of attacks that came Janet Jackson's way. But this same black feminist woman will break her neck to shut down every movement that you have ever tried to start to protect your community, black man. And this is why I tell you that you got to be hard on this black woman. And I'm not just talking about when you're in between them sheets. I mean, you got to apply pressure to this woman like the 85 Chicago Bears using the 46 defensive scheme.
The 46 defense, to make it very plain and to the point, is all about pressure. It is all about pressure. We're going to come at you, and we're going to hit your quarterback until you get another one in.
Trying to lose the horses now. Better get another quarterback, you know, we coming.
It was a nightmare, I know, for the quarterback. First of all, you have Otis and Wilbur next to each other, that the quarterback's looking out of his eye. Then you got Dent on the other side. Then you got Hampton in front of you, and then the Fridge, and then Steve McMichael. That's not very good.
If you blocked all of them, then who had Mike Singletary? If you picked him up, then who blocked number 45, Gary Fensick? In 1985, no one figured it out.
We're going to keep coming, and we're going to keep you guessing, and we're going to keep you thinking. We're not ducking and dodging. We're going to have fun, because the 46 defense was as physical and as nasty as you want to get.
I was a coach, but I was a fan. I mean, I watched, and I marveled just like the people in the bleachers.
It was beautiful to watch. I enjoyed every minute of it. I tell you, those guys, when they got on a roll like that, it was like a work of art.
As that season went on, it became relentless. It was everybody did it. You know, it was Mingo, it was Richard, it was Otis, it was Marshall. Marshall was, man, was he. I can still see the lick he put on Joe Ferguson up in Detroit. I'd never seen like it. I thought he killed him.
Make her hear your footsteps as if you were Jack Tatum or Ronnie Lott patrolling the middle of the field.
The Raiders' hardest hitter was the assassin, free safety Jack Tatum.
Tatum's shots sounded different. Most guys tackle, and you hear shoulder pad, there's a certain sound you make. But a Tatum tackle was like a car wreck. We used to keep score, 1 point for a limp off, and that would be semi-concussion-y when they'd off and stumble around and stuff. But a knockout was like Tatum's specialty. Jack would come up with the head under the chin. The guy'd be gone.
I've caught receivers looking for me instead of looking for the ball. If you can get a receiver thinking about you, well, then he can't be concentrating on you and the ball at the same time. Consequently, sometimes he may drop a few.
For 10 years, Ronnie Lott has set the tempo for San Francisco. He hit so hard and with such fury that some wide receivers cringe at the thought of running routes into his territory. Said one receiver, "He hit me so hard he knocked the taste out of my mouth."
You need to set the tempo and stop feminism cold in its tracks like Dick Night Train Lane.
Night Train's tackles were anything but funny. His motto was "hang 'em high," and his signature hits were more like stranglings or beheadings.
I know when he went to the Detroit Lions, and he was my opponent at that time, you got to think about it, because he hurt you.
Oh, he'd kill you. Kill you. He wouldn't tackle you necessarily fair. It wouldn't be a fair tackle. They made a head tackle an outlaw because of Night Train Lane. Train would just reach and grab him by his neck and just pull him down, and that's called the night train neck tackle.
If you'll notice, every other ethnicity has your woman in check, but you, black man. She won't bite the white man's hand because he gives her government jobs and feeds her EBT child.
Which liquor store take the EBT card? Where y'all get that Patron last time?
She won't get too out of line with the Asians or Pakistanis because she knows she won't be able to go into their weave galleries and creamy crack emporiums.
This weave makes me look so Latino, or Hispanic, or Dominicano, or Boricua. I wonder if anybody will mistake me for being multi-ethnic. I wonder if they'll mistake me for being anything but black.
She won't test the Arab man because he has a foothold on all the gas stations she buys her incense from whenever she's filling up the tank of her hood rat mobile. In fact, black man, if you ever notice, the only one the black woman seems to be going ham on is you. Because the Mexicans and even the gay community have taken strong positions to ensure that they have a stake in your community as well. So the black woman continues to keep strong alliances and healthy relations with everyone but you.
Hey YouTube, my name is Rain, and I have a serious question about why it's so hard for white guys to date black girls. Alright, I've never dated a black guy, and all my other boyfriends, I've had maybe like 4 boyfriends, and I don't know, it's just, it's they call me, whenever they get mad at me, they call me racial, they call me like nigger, you know, I'm mixed, and they call me, you know, spick and stuff like that, and just call me a whole bunch of different stuff, and I just really want to know why it's so hard for, because I'm not ghetto, it's not like I'm ghetto, I can understand that. I mean, it doesn't bother me either, because, you know, I hear nigger all the time, I hang out with rednecks, you know, I go mudding, fishing, you know, stuff like that. You know, I don't like rap music too much, it's okay, I don't really like it, I prefer rock music, I go skateboarding, you know, I'm not really a nigger, you know what I'm saying, so I don't really know what the problem is, but I don't know, I like white guys a lot, and I don't know, I just wanted to know why it's so hard for black girls to date a white guy without them being a wigger, because I don't like wiggers.
What are you doing here, Easter?
Ain't no law against it.
There is, because I say so. Now clear off.
Cause you butt naked?
Don't you talk that way, Easter.
Bitch, you gonna let Miss Perkins watch you.
And don't you talk that way about Miss Perkins.
It Miss Perkins this and Miss Perkins that all the time these days. What become of plain old Lissy?
You wouldn't understand, Easter.
Oh, I understand, all right. You got the fever for Miss Liz.
You hush up, that's foul talk.
Well, you can just cool off that fever in the cold water a little more longer.
Hey, Easter, you come back here with my clothes. I'll whip your hide, I swear I will.
Come on and whoop me then.
And the reason is simple. You refuse to manifest destiny and become self-sufficient by building up your own economic base and cleaning up your own community. Since the civil rights era, you have been trained to wait for others to step in and do this for you. None of these groups that I mentioned run to the voting polls begging for politicians to give them crumbs from their table because they know that you need to have something in order to get something.
I'm here trying to get some Obama bucks. That's what I'm doing, trying to get some Obama money.
So what they do is establish economic and financial power first. This way, the politicians will be begging for you to help them. Black man, you are the only one who thinks the total opposite. And it is because you have allowed the black woman to be your mouthpiece. You let her do 90% of the talking, knowing that all she does is beg. That's right. All the black woman does is beg. She goes to the club on Saturday night with her busybody friends, desperately begging for a good man, and all she gets in return is another one-night stand.
I'm out the dump. All you might get is a rubber on the floor.
She wakes up Sunday morning and jumps in the shower, thinking she scrubbed every bit of sin off her. Throws her Sunday best on to run down to the church so she can beg Jesus to forgive her for what she did the night before.
I met with some friends like that. They initiated me into prostitution, went about sleeping with all sorts of men, any type, up to 6 men a day. They pay me.
Why are you doing that?
In search for power and money.
What kind of respect what you need life?
Thank you, Jesus.
On Monday, she runs down to the courthouse and she begs the judge to go easy on her old knuckle-headed boy for the stupid crimes he keeps committing. On Tuesday, she's back in the courts, filing a petition to beg CPS to increase her child support payments so she can get as much as she can before her boy becomes 18 and she can no longer claim him.
Well, I ain't got no job right now, Tika. And you know that I'm getting caught up.
Caught up in some baby mama drama.
Whatever. And don't be looking at me. It ain't my fault that you lost your job. Dang, Monte. Why you always drinking up all the juices and playing my Xbox all day? Man, it's just like my old grandma used to say. You ain't nothing but a simple, low-life nigga.
Look at the girl, I can do what the hell I want to do around here. This is my house, too. Shit.
I play the daddy and you can play the mama so we can get down upon the living room floor.
On Wednesday, she's down at the WIC office, helping her underage daughter, who just got knocked up, fill out paperwork.
Okay, my name is Carol Haynes. I'm here today trying to apply for WIC for my great nieces, which I've had just a few days, and I'm very grateful to the help that I'm receiving today.
So she can beg for free milk on the taxpayer's dime. On Thursday, she's begging the school to reinstate her boy back in class and lift the expulsion off his record.
Shut the fuck up, I'll beat your ass. Shut up, nigga. Shut up, nigga. Come here. James! Just watch out. Watch out. James, come on. No, you're not. Hey, chill. James! You mopping up facades, nigga. James! Fuck wrong with you, nigga. Touch my shit, I'll beat the fuck out of you, nigga. James! Fuck wrong with you, nigga.
So she could get him out of her house and he could continue to terrorize other students and teachers as he has done since he has been under her guidance. On Friday, she's calling up the local radio station, begging the DJ to play Beyonce's Single Ladies song. Just before she begs the women who work retail at her favorite clothing store to help her squeeze into the size 6 freakum dress that she wasn't even able to fit when she was in high school. And later that evening, she's at happy hour begging some simp who can't take his eyes off her rear end to get her a free drink.
You knew the game and you still ended up on your back.
And the begging process keeps repeating itself. Black man, you need to speak up for yourself because your woman is the main one begging all the outsiders to step in and help her police your children. And then you both cry a river and get upset when these same foreign groups come into your neighborhood and go upside your pants-sagging son's head with a billy club or gun him down in them streets. Stop letting these begging Bettys speak on your behalf, black man, because it makes you look like a little boy.